Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Bailey Shadle and I wanted to do YouTube for quite some time actually, and I wanted to make sure I got the right setup, make sure I got some lighting, some video editing software, you know, a camera, make sure I had everything, and I finally do. So I am so excited to start this journey. I definitely want to be more involved in the beauty community. I think it's well established. So today, what I want to talk about is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe collection. I just got mine in the mail not too long ago, a couple days, and I think that they are great and I want to try them on camera for the first time. The palette that I want to use is the Bling Boss palette, and this is what the packaging looks like. It's white, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but the stars that are around the circle here are color coordinated with the actual palette itself. So this is what the palette looks like. It is freaking beautiful and I cannot wait to play with it. I did get the Volt. It just comes like this, and then it has the 4 palettes in here. You have this ribbon to pull it out. So this is the one that I want to do a tutorial on today. Let's get into it. I'm gonna prime my eyes with the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. Looks like this. Now you can use a concealer if you want, but I'm just gonna use this. So if you see me looking off to the side, I do have a viewfinder and that's what I'm looking at. So my mirror is down here, so if you see me looking down, looking at my mirror, I'm just gonna take a Real Techniques expert face brush, just like this, just to buff in that primer potion. I don't know which method I prefer using when it comes to priming my eyes. I just feel like I haven't found one that really works for me. So I would tell you to probably use a concealer because I've had this Eden primer potion for so long and I don't really know how I feel about it anymore. Also, I did fill up my brows a little bit with, I just used the Maybelline Total Temptation brow definer. It just looks like this. It has a little spoolie on the end and then the color comes out of here. So I'm gonna take a powder. Well, you can take a powder, but I'm gonna take just a regular cream eyeshadow color. Just gonna pop into the Norvina palette and I'm gonna take this color called Base just to set the primer. You always wanna make sure you set the primer because if you don't, it's gonna cause the shadows to be very patchy and we don't want that. So I'm just gonna take a Morphe B81, just looks like this. And take the base color on it and just put it all over the lid to soften that primer. So like I said, I wanted to do YouTube for a while. I've just been feeling like super discouraged, you know, because when you try to do social media, it's like all you see is like bullying on social media, and you know, sometimes people can be really mean to you and they're not supporting you, which I don't agree with. I think that we need more people in the world to be supporting each other. And like, it's hard to just wake up one day and say you want to do all of this. You know, you really have to set your mind to it. And, you know, I want to put myself out there. I want to learn new things. Like, I've never video edited a day in my life. And I want to get a little bit into photography and stuff like that. So I think now is the perfect time for me to do that. So I'm super stoked. The first color I'm going to take as my transition color is called Hush Hush. It's this beautiful mauve color. Very, very pretty. And you always want to use a transition color because it's going to help your other colors blend better together. So I'm just going to take, my favorite blending brush is the Morphe M573. It just looks like this. It's a little bit tapered at the end. Mine isn't dirty, it's just pretty stained because I use it all the time. So I'm going to dip right into that. You always want to brush off the excess, of course. So I'm going to put this right in my crease. I hope you guys can see it on camera. Let me zoom you in a little bit. And I'm just gonna build this color up. But yeah, like I was saying, I love the beauty community. I love watching other influencers on YouTube and, you know, being inspired by other people. And I want to be able to do that. So, you know, I've watched videos on, you know, people talking about how their YouTube journey started. And they all kind of said that they just they just did it. Like there was nothing like it just happened for them. Like, and their advice was to just do it. Just put yourself out there, you know, remain consistent, which is what I plan to do. Obviously, I work full-time, so it might be a little bit difficult, but as I get more experienced, I definitely want to do it more often. So this color definitely blends out very nice. I feel like you have to build it up a little bit, which for me is fine. I don't really care about that stuff. It does have a little bit of fallout in the pan, but it's really not bad. Fallout to me, it doesn't bother me. As long as the shadow performs okay, I'm totally okay with the fallout, honestly. So the next color I'm gonna go in with this color called Rockstar. It's like this deep purple. I think it might come up a little bit red on camera, but it's actually very purple. I'm gonna take that on an M514 brush. It looks just like this, just a smaller definer brush. I'm gonna take a little bit of that. I'm gonna put that in the crease as well to darken it up. I did post on my Instagram a little bit ago if you guys wanted to see a review on this collection, and most of you guys had said yes. So I plan to do a tutorial with every palette that's in the vault. I've been reading on social media, more on Twitter, that, you know, faulty palettes being sold, even though Jaclyn Hill did remove, like she didn't do the launch right away in June when she was supposed to, because it wasn't consistent. Some of the palettes were good and some were faulty. And supposedly I've been reading on Twitter that it's happening again with the palettes that are out now, but honestly my palettes are completely fine. I got mine off of the Morphe website, but a lot of the people are saying that they bought them off Ulta, and that's where they were noticing the inconsistency was. So for this Rockstar shade, I'm just putting it a little bit lower in the crease just to help define it a little bit more. I also put on my Instagram, if you guys wanted to see swatches on all 4 of the palettes, which I will be putting up. I'll link my Instagram somewhere in here or down in the description bar. But you know, these eyeshadows blend so nice and they're very pigmented. I definitely do think that her original palette, this is what it looks like. I do think these are a little bit more creamy and they blend a little bit better, but honestly, like, the Vault collection is a hit to me. I do feel like I have to spend a little bit more time on these, but honestly, like, that doesn't even bother me. Like I said, you can see they are performing very well on my eyelids. So I've tried it with concealer as the primer and I've tried it with Urban Decay Primer Potion, and it pretty much looks the same, so you could use either for your primer. And I just like to go in windshield wiper motions, honestly. I find like that's the best technique for me. So the next shade that I want to take is called Mystic. It's like a more darker plum brownie purple color. I'm going to take that on the same brush and I'm going to apply that to the inner corner here. What are your guys's, which one's your favorite palette out of the whole collection? Let me know in the comments. I don't know which one is my favorite. I would say this one or the Armed and Gorgeous palette. Let me show you guys that one. This is the Armed and Gorgeous palette, which I'll probably do my next video on this one. I think this one is so pretty. So I would probably say this one, Bling Boss, and Armed and Gorgeous are probably my 2 favorites out of the whole collection. I think it's awesome that, you know, Jaclyn, she's been collaborating with Morphe for quite some time now, and she kind of has all the say, which to me is awesome because a lot of collaborations, the main brand you're collaborating with makes all the decisions, but Jaclyn's been very open on her Snapchat about her being able to make all the decisions, which I think is great. And she's also able to make all the decisions when it comes to the marketing of the product, which I think the campaign was awesome, in my opinion. Like, I think it was very great. And I love that since she couldn't fit all of the eyeshadows total in this palette, she decided to come out with extra palettes. Like, I think that's great. Instead of just ditching those eyeshadows, she decided to come out with another collection. And these are really cheap. I think it's $15 individually, and I think I paid $45 or $49 for all 4 of them. So it is, of course, I think it's $11 cheaper to get the Vault collection instead of buying them individually. All right, so I have that outer corner pretty defined now, and I love smoky eyes, so that's what I'm going for today. It's kind of like a blown out smoky eye. All right, so for the lid shade, I want to go in with Bling Bling. I think this one's probably my favorite out of all the colors in the palette. I just think it's super, like, that's what it looks like. It's so pretty. You guys can see that. So pretty. I'm gonna take that on a Morphe M167. This is what it looks like. And I am going to wet the brush with Fix Plus. You don't have to do this, but for shimmers, for me personally, I like to wet my brush with Fix Plus. I think it helps the shadow stick better to the eye. It makes it a little bit more pigmented. You don't get as much fallout. So I'm gonna coat the brush, and I'm just gonna spray some Fix Plus on it. And it's probably not really gonna show up on camera because it's so light, but my favorite way to apply any shimmer at all is with my finger, which I will go back over top of this and do. But I always start first with the brush to get the base down. If there's anything you guys want me to review, like I do plan to review the Norvina palette as well, please let me know in the comments. Like I said, I want to put myself out there and be more involved in the beauty community. So if you guys have any suggestions or advice for me, please let me know. I would love to hear what you have to say. I'm just going to take it on my finger and apply it. It's very subtle. I don't think it's blinding, but I do think it is. It's very, very pretty. I feel when you apply shadows like this that are a little bit foiled and glittery, that the color payoff is a lot better when you're applying it with your finger because the warmth of your finger is kind of, you know, melting it into your eyelid. So that's what that looks like if you guys can see it. I know it's probably really hard to tell on camera, and plus with my lighting too, it's probably really difficult, but that's what it looks like. So I'm just gonna go back in with my M514, the one that I applied the darker purples on my eyelid with, and I'm not gonna put any more product on it. I'm just gonna go back over this line here just to soften the outer corners, just like that. Same with right here, just so there's no harsh lines at all. So now that I have the eye look done, I'm gonna start on my face. I always do my eyes first before my face, and then once I finish my face, I'll go in with the under eyes and finish those. So for primer today, what I'm gonna use, I'm just gonna use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. Just looks like this. It comes in a frosted glass bottle, and it does have a pump, which I freaking like. I need a pump when it comes to my primers. Same with my foundations. I love anything with a pump. So I'm just gonna put some on my finger, put some all over my face. And this is for more oily skin. I used to have like severe dry skin when I was growing up, and now I kind of have more oily skin, but I still do get dry for sure, like around my cheeks and sometimes my chin. But recently I've been having very oily skin, so I've been trying to use some more mattifying primers. So for foundation, I'm gonna go in with the ColourPop No Filter foundation. I really like this foundation, and it's super affordable, you guys. I think it's like maybe like 12 bucks, I want to say. I love it. I think it's awesome. I have the shade Fair 30. This one is a little bit pink, but I have like very light skin, so I have a pretty cool undertone in my opinion. So this is the shade that I went with. The color shades, they do run pretty light in my opinion. So my favorite way to apply foundation is of course with a beauty blender. I'm not a brush person. I don't know why. I just feel like brushes make your foundation streaky and it just doesn't blend it out as nice. So I do have a damp beauty blender here. I put the foundation on my hand. It is pretty runny, so it's pretty thin consistency. And I'm just gonna dot this on and pounce it into the skin. I wouldn't say They say this is full coverage, but I wouldn't say it's full coverage. I would say it's more of a medium coverage, but it leaves such a pretty finish on the skin. Doesn't dry my skin out. It hides my pores pretty well. So I definitely like this. And ColourPop is super affordable, which makes it even better. I own a lot of things from ColourPop. They have some of the best eyeshadows there are, in my opinion. So if you guys aren't aware of ColourPop, you should definitely go to their website and check them out. I think they are a phenomenal. Now in this area in Pennsylvania, you pretty much just have to order it online because we don't have any stores around here, of course, because we're Pennsylvania. But I definitely recommend them. I know they just came out with some, what are they called? Like Supernova Shock Shadows or something. They're kind of like the Stila Magnificent Metals, which I freaking love. They are one of my favorites when it comes to my eyes. So I am super excited to try those out. So this is what it looks like on the skin. It doesn't look that bad, honestly. I would say it's more of a satin finish. I don't think it's very, like it's not matte. It's not flat or anything, but it definitely is very pretty. So the concealer that I'm gonna go in with is also from ColourPop. It's the No Filter concealer. I have the shade 04. This is what it looks like. I do think that this concealer oxidizes a little bit. So when I put it on my eye, it looks super light, but if you let it sit there for a minute, it kind of darkens. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to tell, but it goes on very light, and it is still light, of course, but as it sits on your skin, it kind of gets more like yellow as it sits. So I am just gonna blend this in. This is just gonna help to cover any dark circles that you have, which I have a lot, so I need some concealer. And it blends out so effortlessly. Like, you really do not have to do much at all. And it covers up blemishes pretty well. I wouldn't say this is full coverage either. I would say this is probably more on the medium side along with the foundation. But it just looks so pretty under the eyes. Does anybody else make ridiculous faces when they put on their concealer like that? Because same. Alright, so now that we have that blended out, for powder, I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Ethereal Setting Powder. This looks like this, comes in this type of packaging. I love this setting powder. This and the Laura Mercier are my two go-tos when it comes to setting powder. I'm gonna take some on the sponge here. This is also my favorite way to apply powder, with the sponge. This powder just makes your skin so airbrushed. Like, it just looks so good in my opinion. I always will set my under eyes first, and then I'll bring it down into my cheeks. So for me, my chin, my nose, and my forehead are the ones that get the most oily on my skin, so I try to put more powder in those areas. Alright, and of course, I'll just bring the remaining powder down my neck, because when I do my foundation, any foundation I have left over on the Beauty Blender, I'll drag it down my neck. Alright, so now I'm gonna go in with bronzer and contour. I'm not like a big into contouring. I just kind of like to bring some color back into my face because I'm so pale. So I'm gonna go in with the Morphe 8L palette. This is what it looks like, and I'm gonna take this light shade here and this shade down here. I usually will mix the two. And I'm just going to apply that with a Wet n Wild brush. There's no number, it just says Wet n Wild on it. And I'm just gonna tap into those two. And just kind of go right here on the cheekbones. I just want to do this to bring some color back into my face, since when you're this pale, light foundations like this can make you look very washed out, which we do not want. And then I'll bring it up on my forehead as well. Tip, if you think you have a very big forehead and you put like contour or bronzer up here on your forehead, it can give the illusion that you have a smaller forehead. Same with your nose. I'm not going to contour my nose, but a lot of people, that's why they're contouring their nose. You can do your jawline down here as well. It can give you more defined jawline. And if you have a double chin, you know, you're like this, you have a double chin, you could put some right here to give the illusion that you don't have a double chin. All right, so for blush, I've really been liking the Morphe 8W palette. Now, I'm not really a big blush person, but lately I've been becoming one. And this is their more warmer toned blush palette. They also have one called 8C. They are more of like a pinky cooler tone, which just looks like this. I like this one too, but I like the 8W more, the one that we're using today. So that's the one that I'm going to use. I'm going to apply the blush on this. It's just a Sephora brush. Just looks like this. It's pretty skinny and it comes up into a tapered tip. I'm going to apply Unapologetic, which is this color right here. I like more nude blushes and kind of like coral blushes. I'm not really too much of a pink person, but I do wear them occasionally, but nudes and corals and peaches are my way to go. I'm just gonna, first with this brush, I'm just gonna apply it to the skin. I'm not gonna blend it. I'm just gonna apply it to the apples of my cheeks here, right above where we put the bronzer. And like I said, this is just the brush that I use to apply it. And then I'm gonna go in with this Real Techniques blush brush, just looks like this. And then this is kind of what I go in with to distribute the product, just to diffuse it a little bit, make it look a little bit more blended. Just like that. So, for my favorite part, highlighter. I'm obsessed with highlighting my face. So, because we've been using ColourPop most of this tutorial, I'm just gonna go in with the ColourPop Flexitarian. I hope I'm saying that right. Looks just like this. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it. There you go. Looks just like that. And I like to apply cream highlighters like this with my finger, but I'm gonna go in with a brush. If you do use a brush for cream highlighting, my tip to tell you is to use a very dense brush. So I'm gonna use this Sephora brush. It's very dense. I'm gonna go in and start applying this highlighter. I think maybe only like $6 or $5. It is pretty blinding. Now, I'm not gonna really get a blinding effect with this brush, but if you use your finger, it's pretty blinding. I hope you guys can see that. I'm just gonna use a subtle amount, which usually I don't. Just gonna put this right where I have that blush, and I'm gonna apply some on my nose here, which I'm just gonna go in with my finger and do some right there on the tip of my nose, Cupid's bow, and you can put some on your chin if you want. But this is what it looks like. It's super pretty. Don't sleep on this. And it's, like I said, it's like $5 or $6. It is so pigmented and blinding. Like you can, if you build this up with your finger, they're gonna see you from NASA, okay? So now that our face is done, I'm gonna go in and we're gonna finish the shadow on our lower lash line. I'm gonna go back in with that smaller defining brush that we use the darker purples for. And I'm gonna go back into Mystic, which is this color right there. And I'm gonna put that on the lower lash line. So I'm just gonna kind of put this more on the outer part of the lower lash line. And then I'm gonna go in with Rockstar, which is this more really purple shade. I don't know, to me it looks like red on the camera, but I promise you it's very purple. I'm gonna kind of put that on the inner corner of the lower lash line. And then with the crease brush that we went in with at the beginning, the M573, looks just like this. I'm gonna take that Hush Hush color, which was our transition shade, and I'm just gonna buff that in back and forth just so we don't have any harsh lines on our lower lash line. All right, so the eyes are all done. This is what they look like. And what I like to do is I'm gonna set my face first and then I'll go in with mascara, because I used to do mascara first and then I would put setting spray on, but then the mascara would kind of just like get wet and smear everywhere. So learned my lesson there. So I ran out of my Urban Decay All Nighter, like it's literally empty. So I found a mini that I had, so this is what it looks like. This is my favorite setting spray, of all time. I do have the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray as well. This works pretty good, but I haven't found anything that tops All Nighter yet, so. Just gonna spray that on. And if you're like me and you can't wait for your setting spray to dry, just take something to fan yourself off. This is what I always do because I'm so impatient. And what a setting spray is gonna do is it's going to make all of your powders just sink into the face. So you're not gonna have that powdery look on your face, and it's gonna make your foundation, all of your makeup, it's just gonna lock it in and make it last all day. I can't not set my face, okay? The type of environment I work in, it's very hot, and if I don't set my face, my makeup will probably just slide off my face, so we don't want that. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with mascara. So far, what I've really been liking for mascara is the Voluminous Lash Paradise. I use the waterproof just because I've noticed if I use regular mascara and even some waterproofs throughout the day, like I'll have like, it looks like I have raccoon eyes, like I'll have like black down here. Happens with this one too, but I still really like the way this makes my lashes look. So just gonna put a few coats of this on. I mean, I do have naturally long eyelashes, but so I'm not gonna apply any false lashes. But this stuff just gives your eyelashes like a lot of volume. I think it looks so good. So that is with one coat. Look at that. Look how good that is. And I think this mascara is only maybe like $6.99, $8.99, something like that. You can get it at Walmart, Target, Giant, wherever. I'm gonna put some on the lower lash line. I make a really weird face when I do this, so don't judge. I'm sure other people do it, but I have really long lower lashes, so I don't want it to try to transfer, so I always put my head down and make a really weird face when I do it. All right, you guys, so this is what the eyes look like. Very dramatic, very purple. I've been trying to use more color, so I really like how this turned out. I hope you guys liked it too. Let me know in the comments what you want to see. My collection, I would say, is pretty decent for not being a YouTuber, so let me know. I do plan to do a review on the Norvina palette. This is what it looks like. Very beautiful. So yeah, this is the look. I hope you guys really like it. I like it a lot, so like I said, these shadows, they blend so good. Like all you have to do is tap your brush in one time and the pigment's already there. So you don't even really have to try, in my opinion, when it comes to blending these. So yeah, this is today's look. Very purple vibes today. So if you guys want to see anything, like I said, put it in the comments. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. All right, guys, I will see you in my next video. Like I said, I hope you like the look. I'm going to do other looks on the other 3 palettes as well, so let me know what you guys want to see. All right, guys, thank you for watching and being here with me and loving makeup with me. I mean, that's the whole point, right, of the beauty community. We can sit down, we can do our makeup together, which I will do any time of the day. So all right, guys, I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.